Sue Rose Minahan, February 9, 2021, Top Cosmos host, and this is Now Chat. And today is really between questions asked of dialogue. Like, what is the priority almost? It's the impeachment. Trump's second impeachment with the Senate. And it takes the news in so many forms. Republicans are debating with the Democrats in the Senate, and so many analysis. It really is, but a question of perhaps it's a process. So the other big factor that's been on the news is Mary Wilson, the supreme singer. I mean, it's almost like, are we wanting to get diverted? And how can we not get diverted when we have so much attachment to what music presents? And the astrology, as we will connect right now, is totally emphasizing all these options because life is options. We have free will. It's just what energies are being related to us in this moment. And that's what these dialogues are about on one little synopsis of thought. Mary Wilson, someday we'll be together again, when she was the Supremes, and Stop in the Name of Love. And she held that title after Diana Ross left. There's a lot in the news about it. She was a tenacious soul and really helped build Motown, the great music of those 60s and 70s. And I remember them well. I love that music. I love her music. And it's really connecting so many factors of a woman. When you think of today's motion of the tenacity of a artistry, a female artistry, when yes, there's many women singers, but yet one that fought so hard behind the scenes to preserve her dignity of rights, because she actually brought in Diana Ross. I was dumbfounded. I had no idea. Well, let's look at some of the charts right now, because really what's amazing is this factor of the impeachment. And Democrats, you wonder, there's so many questions. It all gets down to constitutional value, and it really gets down to opinions and facts. And it has everything to do with the nodes. If you look at, well, it has everything to do with the whole chart. But at this moment, it was 1 o'clock at the Capitol building in DC. So that's what this is set for. And it's Gemini rising with the North Node here close to the ascendant. But you could say Mercury is such a claim to fame for this particular energy, because at 18 degrees, it exactly trines the North Node. And it's a portal of communication. The energy is being looked at through the eyes of Uranus, that's in this tight square going all year long, really. This is the first of 3 coming up soon, or has happened between Saturn. They're both co-rulers of Aquarius. And it's a stellium right now. That means more than 3, all in Aquarius. And what is that about? Well, it's about back to what Uranus is in, which is in Taurus, which is values. It's our survival of what we really feel is working for our survival. What's the values? And when it comes to the South Node, and this is all astrological talk, in Sagittarius, that's the law. And this is the prime stage. Lawyers of every dimension are talking about, constitutionally, can we impeach a president out of office? And there is great intellectual thought that yes, you can. Yet there's opinions, and that really gets down to the belief systems of Sagittarius of no, this isn't possible. It's just when the person is in office. Well, it remains to be seen, because law is everything about trying out through dialogue facts and beliefs, and it's a whole system. And really, so we're in this long process essentially of dealing with how we're looking at the question, was this insurrection? Or is it free speech? And what are the dynamics? Because certainly in the police system, from what I understand, when violence is affected or introduced, then that's where people get imprisoned. So free speech might begin to get that same idea. And again, it seems like law on what terms and that whole rhetoric. So there's good reason why in some ways, and it's an option, we'd prefer to think about someone like Mary Wilson, the Supremes, because she represents for so many, especially the baby boomers and many people after that, because she continued to sing until she died. She died at 76. So whether it's the people with their Plutos, as we call the generation, in Leo, which is baby boomers, or in Virgo or Libra, even Scorpio, maybe Sagittarius, have an affinity with some of her songs, depending on their musical interest, of course. And that connects so much emotionally. And if you look here, because the whole chart's really getting tied together, it's in a bundle that we call it in Mark Edmund Jones. But here, Mercury, which is the denominator I was saying that is so attached by its trine, that's a supportive energy flow with the North Node of communication. And here, elevated, it's looking above, may not be a better view, but at least it's a different view. It's not so totally connected on a personal level. So it's trying to see another aspect, and it wants to improve. And it's looking, therefore, this is like a dispository chain of just how our thinking might evolve, as I was saying, to its ruler, which is Uranus. But there's a whole heap of energies that are looking to that. And here, Jupiter's also in response to the South Node. So many ways, it's the dialogue is going back and forth. And so Jupiter and Venus are pretty well attached. In fact, you can see that in this particular way. This is what they call a module sort, and it's for 30 degrees, and it's from the beginning, from the earliest to the latest. And it's really interesting because here you have the two competitors, you could say, that are having this year-long debate between the tradition and structure of Saturn that is in innovative, maybe reframe things, Aquarius, because it breaks the rhythm. It's the next planet out. And so, and it's with, and it's here, it's right in close with this set values of Earth. But okay, we're going forward. We're going forward over here to Mercury, actually, to Jupiter and Venus. Yes, so close together. Venus and expanding those ideals. And what does it mean? Well, you have all kinds of people talking about things. You have people like the Democrats, Senator Duckworth of Illinois, who was a former Iraq war veteran, speaking of what are the values that people that align themselves in the military are fighting for. And it was really what the people want rather than just a few people in power. And so it gets down to so many ideas because, in some ways they're talking about how this Senate ruling that's important. I mean, history has its course, and we look back whether or not it's like, did we win the battle or the war? Well, maybe not the battle, but maybe the war. And what is the war? The war could be on values, and it could be on communication. It certainly is. If we look at just Jupiter, again, going back here, Jupiter and Venus that are so tightly aligned, and with Mercury going into that portal with the North Node, we have a lot to consider. In the meantime, we're remembering our favorite songs and our people and a life that we're going on beyond. So thank you. Do subscribe, Love you lots and comment. Okay.